Good.
Good.
Dale,
All right.
is all right? You haven't had
Yeah,
a week?
I've had a pretty good week. Just some really stupid people I had to deal with at work today.
It's awesome. That's fun for you.
I haven't seen you yet, but I have some really stupid people from work too.
It's going to be a fun dinner at their house.
Yeah.
I'm still in the car on my way home. That's how stupid people are today.
Oh man, we're gonna. This is what I get doing these earlier. We got a light crew tonight.
Yeah.
It's all right. Heather's here. Heather wanted me to break her down tonight, so hopefully the rest of them catch the replay. I'm sorry you couldn't be here with us tonight. Some people about what we got? About 50-50 tonight. Some people that have been with me for a bit, some that are first time, some Larry's been in 3 challenges. He just keep coming back for more. Larry, how you feeling?
Feeling good, Tom.
Feeling good. Well, I'll break down whoever else want, if we have time at the end, I'll hit Heather, but my day started off good. I woke up early. I didn't sleep in. Woke up early. I hit the gym and I was struggling finding music to listen to. Does that ever happen to anybody?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Oh
just
yeah.
couldn't get into anything. It was it was like kind of killing my vibe. So after I did my cardio, I went in the sauna for about 10 minutes and was just like, I gotta just hunt down some tunes. And I ended up going with search YouTube workout motivation, which it's not everybody's cup of tea, but usually there's some background music going. And then it's just, compilations of motivational quotes. Got me thinking, where we are in the final week of the challenge. And, when I've had too much caffeine in the morning, my brain starts to wander. And I was like, you know what? Let's take notes of all the things, going on at my 5 a.m. brain, 5:30, 5:30 a.m. brain. And I started going down a rabbit hole today. And, I would almost feel bad dogging people. I'd almost feel bad, but the people that I'm going to dog won't even watch this replay. So I went and looked at some numbers and there were less than 10. I want to say it was 7 people signed up for the challenge, didn't do a thing. They didn't do a single workout. They didn't show up to a single call. They did not track a single calorie. They made a donation to the bank of Tom, which all ended up going back into fun stuff for the next challenge. We got hats now, and I gotta, so I ended up putting everything back in. But I'm like 7 people that submitted and said they were going to do this, and which is not a bad amount considering the amount of people we had to do it this time. I mean, I know a lot of people can't make it to all the calls because of time, so I tried to add in a little variety there.
Hmm.
Variety only got me 12, but I couldn't believe, just people not one workout, didn't respond to one message because week one, if I didn't see you did a workout, I sent you a message. If you didn't do a workout by week two, I sent you a message and they ghosted me. And I saw they set up their accounts. It wasn't a tech issue. They got in and they didn't do it. So I was thinking, you know, it's
Why?
coming into the final week. Next week will be the official final week, but I was like, let me go with the little motivation stuff tonight and just, say I'm proud of every single person that showed up. The people that, if you're somebody that's listening to replays and you did workouts, but you couldn't make the calls because I know we have somebody in the Netherlands. There's the first time I've coached somebody in the Netherlands.
Wow.
Al's doing it in Argentina. uh Karen's up in Canada. We got people in I'm like, London. I'm like, never did I dream that like we go all and I'm like just it jazzes me up. So just super excited. Like the people that showed up throughout the challenge, put in the work, made changes from the version of what are we, 6.5 weeks ago. Hopefully, positive changes that you didn't even think were possible, you've seen happen. And, a lot of people just showed up and realized I've gotten so many messages of people. I didn't realize I was capable. We had a call last night and let me say I did 25-pound dumbbells on the chest press and I did a 40-pound squat and I never thought I'd be able to do that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what jazzes me up.
Hmm.
And then, I got people, Denise messaged me last night because Denise, you're the one I could see. You know, it's not the end. So the challenge is never meant to, be your finish line.
Right.
It's more of a launch pad. So,
Hmm.
and that got me thinking about my fitness and nutrition journey. It's not just about cramming it into a few weeks. And if you followed my particular journey during this, I've tried to accelerate things for the past few weeks, but I've laid the foundation, and I hope a lot of you have laid the foundation, building a healthier lifestyle, just brick
Hmm.
by brick, day by day, that helps you, take it to the next level. And it's a starting point. If you've never done this before, definitely a starting point for you. And that got me thinking the real reason, and we got there's some of you that have been on every call. There's some that have not missed a call or, that have not missed a workout, have tracked almost every single day. Heather, who we'll talk to in a little bit, it's killing her because she can't even hit her numbers this week because I threw her a wrench as we try to take it to the next level. But when I started thinking about people that got stuck and missed the boat, it's generally those people that want to go from day one to year one in one day. So it's like I get asked all the time, people that want results instantly. And the truth is that's generally it's not how it works. You think about it, and I get asked this, every once in a while, just throw a number out there. We'll say 400 pounds. Somebody says I'm 400 pounds. How long is it going to take me to lose all of this? And look, a year at the minimum, you'll see change along the way. You're gonna have good progress in a year, but you didn't arrive at 400 pounds overnight. You didn't wake up and one day you were, 180, the next day it was 400. It takes time. So 8 weeks, it's not about, you know, it's a jumping point for a lot of people. So I think the most essential thing you could do once the challenge is over, embrace the process along the way, celebrate what you've done, the small wins along the way. It's that's what gets me through. I'm cutting my calories and my carbs pretty deep right now, and I got two little PR notifications. 3 years in doing, and I felt like my workout was crap this morning, and I got two PRs, and I was like, oh my God, I can still make progress at
Hmm.
40 years old. Even though I've been tracking these numbers in there, and it's the small wins, and I was like, you know what? Even though the workout didn't feel the best, it was good. It was good. And then the Lion King woke me up at the end of it. And I'm sorry for what my wife pointed out was I posted my crotch to the entirety of Instagram. Saw that video this
I
morning.
saw that.
I didn't even think of that. And yeah, it was the best. I was like, girl, you slept in. Is she on here? Oh God. Are you here, honey? No, no, she's driving home from work, so she might have dumped on. Good. I'm not in the doghouse just yet. So people that showed up just consistently, even when it's not fun, it's not stuff you want to hear about. Hormones. I was nervous. I go too far into menopause and I lose Dale. Dale don't want to think about menopause. He's got how many girls you got living in that house with you?
3, 4 if I count the dog.
Yeah, he don't want to hear the word menopause.
No.
And a wife who's gonna get there sooner than you want.
So I worry sometimes I try to come up with content for everybody. I try to throw a little testosterone and different male hormones in there, but you know, he showed up. They'll showed up to that one, even when it wasn't something he might not be fully into. Some people just come.
Fine. When I go crazy, he can have a little bit of inf as to why.
Either that or run and hide.
Run and hide.
He's already threatened to put electricity in the shed.
Ah, that's funny. Put
But
elect
that was for when the girls became teenagers, and they're teenagers, and he hasn't done it yet. So
Dale's she shed. Dale's she shed. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I'm really harping on, and I'm gonna send them. The seven people that didn't do workouts or didn't track a thing, I'm gonna send them messages and be like, please come back and do the next challenge. It's on me. I want Like I don't I don't want to just take. I wanted to. I like to do this because it gets to impact people. It's something I'm passionate about. So every day, like people that showed up, you get to make a choice. Like, how are you going to show up today? And just watching people, I get little notifications down the sidebar on my app. This one hit a PR. This one hit a new weight law. I get notifications every day. I try to like them, but I don't even know if you see the likes on your end. You don't see the likes when I like that, do you? Damn,
No.
I need to fix that. But you showed up, I asked myself that's what I was thinking in the sauna this morning. I'm like, how am I going to show up today? I woke up at 4:30 this morning. Am I going to show up tired at 5:30? I think kind of gets in my head sometimes. I'm going to show up tired. Am I going to know what to go on about? Am I going to have to find motivation beforehand? Am I going to have to down some coffee? Or am I going to show up and be the version that y'all came to hang out with for an hour, 8 weeks in a row? So that's who I always want to be. And I think that's what's made me successful in my transformation. It's the transformation happens on the non-perfect days. Like starting it before over the summer when people, kids are out of school. Maybe that makes your life easier. Maybe that makes your life harder. It if it makes your life, if it makes your life harder when the kids go back to school, you've already built 6 weeks of foundation
Hmm.
to go into it. And if you did it during the hard time when, oh, my kids are always around all summer, I got seven of them and they're running around and I don't have time to work out and I don't gotta get them McDonald's and that's what they want to eat, you know, that you now get to go into send them off to the teacher and you built a foundation to the hard times. I love when people sign up. My most successful people sign up in November and December. It's wild to think that, but they go through it in the hardest part of the year for 99% of people. It's the holiday season throws people off. And I'm like, if you could build the habits in November, December, and then everybody else is trying to start in January, you're on cruise control at that point.
Hmm.
So consistent choices. Can't control every circumstance, but you do get to control the effort, the attitude, and the actions that you take. So all of that just compounds. That's where anytime somebody asks me how I've gotten six, like, "Ah, man, how the hell, dude, just comment." And this dude's been toying with me, asking me for advice for like 2 months now in the gym. And I give it because I like to talk. And he's like, I wish I could get there. And I'm like, Stop wishing. I see you when you come in, you sit in the lobby for 10 minutes talking to people. That could have been 10 minutes on the treadmill. That could have been
Hmm.
10 minutes just lifting a little more. And he's been toying, like, yeah, can I get this? What about this? What do I do this? And I'm like, you need to take the action and step forward. He was like, oh, dude, you look 0.5% body. And I'm like, you got to start just choices if you want it. It's going to add up to the person that you end up becoming. Small choices. Small choices. I'm ranting tonight and I like it. I like it. It's getting me passionate towards the end of it. I'm gonna be sad when the challenge comes to an end. Hopefully, and that's kind of why I went on this rant tonight. I don't know who's gonna show up Saturday at 11 a.m. I'm keeping Heather waiting. I hope you don't have a patient, girl. I see you eating. We'll get to you in a second. We'll get to you in a second.
Just doing paperwork and eating my snack.
Doing paperwork, eating a snack. Is anybody part of that motivational thing I listened to this morning was they generally have quotes from a lot of speakers. So David Goggins tends to be on a lot of them. Jocko Willink, um, Eric Thomas. There's a lot of positive motivational speakers. But every once in a while, you hear like business guys pop their heads in, and this one in particular had Gary V. Anybody listen to Gary V at all? His stuff?
Mhm. No, I don't think so.
No. The one quote that stuck with me from him was 400 trillion to one are the odds to becoming a human being. I don't know that is any kind of real metric. But I was like, damn, I believed it just the way he spoke it. I believed it. He says 400 trillion to one, the odds of becoming a human being. Think about that for a second. So it's like the sheer miracle that you're alive, breathing, and the chance to chase your goals, grow stronger, build a better version of you. That's a win. So, so you can see I'm still, I can't believe I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I feel good right now. But it's success in anything, fitness, relationships, life. It's a lot of patience, resilience, strategy, mindset, strategy changes. When we talk to Heather, we're going to talk about changing the strategy I've had her following. And there's an email I wrote about you in the past. Well, you were my muse for the email. You were my muse for the email that I wrote, Heather. So it all comes down to just putting in the work. The guy asking me in the gym, he's like, comes over while I'm doing a set. And I don't, I hope it doesn't come off like I mind giving the advice to him, but he comes over while I'm doing a set and he's kind of hovering and he waits and he waits. And I'm like, you're gonna keep waiting. I got to get my stuff in today. I got a busy day. And it's like, I wanted to say to him, like, bro, you can't outsource the push-ups. You can't outsource the bench press. Like, you can ask me all you want until you do it. You can't fake the discipline. You can't shortcut the consistency. Winning in life or the gym, it's people that put in the reps over and over. If you see me wobbling, this one's on my lap. I don't know if you can see him. He's mad because I just made him do like 10 videos for social media with me. But most of you outside of seven people showed that you can put in the work. That's what separates people from hitting their goals. Dale's on dopey number two or three or four. Keep calling
Three.
it three. You don't get that done. You don't get three dopies done without putting in the work and setting your mind to it. Like I learned that the hard way when I walked out of that first one, like I was in a car crash. I didn't put in enough work, and I had so many regrets. So, that's wild. But like, think about it. 8 weeks. Larry, how old are you?
Ah, I'll be 67 this year.
67. How's that feel?
I feel great. I look at some of the guys I graduated from high school with almost 50 years ago, and they're decrepit.
That's wild. That's wild. It's like 8 week challenge. I just did the math. Larry has been alive, give or take, because I don't know his exact birthday off the top of my head, 3,484 weeks. He has lived 3,484 weeks. So 8 weeks is such a small amount. But the 8 weeks that you put in today doesn't just impact you today, it impacts the rest of his life. So those people that weren't like Larry, that didn't put in work, the word was decrepit.
Oh, there's some of them that are just they're past walkers. There's scooters and everything else at this age, and I'm like, why?
You know, it's crazy. Hope that's my hope for people like that 8 weeks. This 8 weeks helps you over your next 40. So you don't end up feeling decrepit. Spending time with a 100-year-old, almost 100-year-old over the weekend was like very eye-opening. I'm like, this man walked up steps like no problem. He didn't want help. I'm inclined to naturally stand behind the guy because I'm like, oh my God, God forbid. God forbid. And he's fine. He was just memories a little lost going, but he was just going. And I'm like, he's got so much energy. He said, before you touch your food, I need to say grace to everybody. I'm like, this is a man that's taking care of himself, not just the workouts and the meal choices. It's like he's had seeds of discipline his whole life. World War II vet, so he's got good discipline. But like the strength, energy, the confidence, hopefully keeps growing after you finish these 8 weeks up. So ah, I'm hoping like hmm pick out a parent right now, one of you parents, like my goals, my goals, everybody, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm hoping that Lori's got the energy to keep up with three girls, that Dale's got the energy to keep up with four girls, to play with the kids. Like, so I told my mom before my nephews were born, I'm like, start working out. When they turn 5, it's already hard for you to keep up. And she was younger then, 10 years younger at that point. I'm like, and she started working out. She's like, I can keep up. My friends can't even keep up with their grandkids. I'm moving, you know, strength, independence. You could live with, decades and
Mhm.
add some years to your life. That's the winning part.
Well, all I'm trying to do is try to keep up with what my great grandmother. She was 101 and a half when she passed, so
You
I
got
figured
good
there's a goal right there.
101 and a half.
Yep, my oldest son, we had the 5 generation picture done with her.
What's the family secret?
I don't know. I'm still trying to find out. They
Did,
didn't tell me.
did they exercise? I mean, I'm imagining they weren't.
Well, my great grandmother, dear Lord, that woman, every time I saw her, she was outside in the yard in her 80s and 90s, and she was tending her flower bed out there.
Hmm.
And you had to be careful what you said around her because she would snatch a knot in your head, too.
She was
Still,
moving around. She was moving and grooving.
oh, she was.
I love that. I love that. I got, I
And the
have
rest of them made it into their 90s. So,
you got good genetics.
Definitely.
That's, I don't have good metrics around me to determine if I have good genetics. My, grandfather on one side smoked his whole life, so I think he had that working against him. Was a big fan of Budweiser, Bud Heavy. Um, Grandmother taken way too young from breast cancer. And on the other side, my grandfather was a World War II vet, came back, had 9 kids, and drank himself to death after that.
Oh,
Yeah, there was, you hear the stories from the parents like, yeah, no, he was, if you heard what he went through out there, it's amazing he made it that long afterwards.
yeah.
But he's Irish. He had to get 9 kids out before calling it and leave grandma on the hook.
My
So
grandfather did the same thing. He came back from World War II and drank himself, but he ended up having a stroke and then just
it's crazy. It's
he
nuts.
also they also had nine.
Huh?
They also had nine children, but two of them died, and like and he had they had my nana had a really really tough life.
That's something you never want for somebody like have to see their child pass. That's rough. That's rough. You had 5 in your family. Oh my God. I have 32 cousins on that side alone. It's insane. It's like I don't even know some of their names. It's crazy. Anybody work out when they didn't want to during the challenge? You're like, this sucks, but I got to do it.
Me every time I picked up a weight.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I was saying some words about you during some of those
appreciate the
sections.
honesty. I appreciate the honesty. It's, but I'm telling, there's been so many days, as much as I love working out, you see me smiling about it, just talking about it, hearing that it's like a global struggle. And I'll talk about how I trained coaches and taught coaches for so long. And like progress it's not the reps. It's built in, all the reps count, but it's really built in the ones you don't want to do, in my opinion, because that's when you show up and no one's watching, it's you keeping the promise to yourself, you eat the meals with intention. That's like the magic. Oh man, I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do this. That means your goal is more powerful than anything else. Like you're more focused on the finish line. So stack those moments up, and so many, one of the I'm for Orange Theory, they don't allow everybody to train their coaches. So I was one of the few people that was allowed to train trainers for them in the state of Florida. And I always try to leave them not just with I can teach anybody to coach a class. You give me 5 days and you take a couple workouts during it, I can have you on a microphone. But to coach a human being and to work with the human being, I would try to always leave these younger coaches with a little bit of something to take home that's going to have them create a positive impact. And one thing I would always tell people, these guys, as a fitness coach, we are in a minority. We enjoy working out. I firmly believe that like 90% or more of the world does not like to work out. Exercise is uncomfortable. So I tell them, you got to make an impact on people. You got to make them forget about the shit. My language is hopefully not kids in the room. Forget about the crap going on in the world. Forget about all the crap. If they can forget about the crap, get lost in the music and feel good for an hour, they're gonna fall in love with working out, and it's gonna be they'll be a fitness person for life. So like workout shouldn't be miserable. I hope it hasn't been miserable for anybody, during, oh my God, except for Lori. Dale told me to put her through a little misery. I gave her a whole different set of workouts than I gave everybody else. Try to torture the poor girl.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody that.
I'm just kidding. She's in the doghouse. Look at you.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know. Wrapping up, we'll wrap up. We got tonight's call, Saturday's call, and then we'll do the finale call on Wednesday, which I got to tell Matt when I have a call with Matt at 6:30 that Matt, we're busy at that hour. You can move forward or backwards unless Matt's on here or Matt's wife's on here. But at the finish line, I hope you don't think of it as an ending. I hope that it's for those of you who's first time doing it, it's the first chapter. Hopefully I gave you some tools, I gave you some knowledge. You've shown yourself you can follow through. If for some reason you're one of those 7 people that didn't do a single thing during this challenge, but you watch these calls, follow through, shoot me a message, and I'll get you. But I ask how you ask yourself this after. I don't even want to ask like how are you going to keep building? How are you going to keep going? And how are you going to take what you started here, carry it into tomorrow, next week, after the challenge, over the next year? Anybody could start something. I wish I chronicled the whole journey. And I'm a guy, I actually like to write. I like to journal and stuff like that. I really wish I had chronicled my whole journey because I can't tell you the amount of times I quit and I quit and I quit. And then it took a literal swift kick in the butt. I got beat up at a bar because my ex had a big mouth on her. I got hit with a pool cue, and I said I'm never gonna get beat up again. I started going to the gym. Really terrible reason to start working out is getting your butt kicked and not wanting anybody to kick your butt again. But I think it helped me build confidence I didn't have then. I couldn't have imagined 18 years ago speaking, to 100 people and doing this. But I think it gave me the confidence and the passion. It led me into the right place. But that's who I became from it. So not just 8 weeks, just keep it going. 400 trillion to one. You got one shot, one opportunity, as Mr. Eminem said. Don't waste it. Keep putting in the work, keep showing up, and hopefully, if you didn't get to where you want during the challenge, you gain some steam, you gain some momentum, and you gain some good habits. So last week and a half, finish strong. If you anticipate partying like a rock star Labor Day weekend, please do your weigh in before. Do your final weigh in before partying like a rock star. I feel like Dale's going to breweries. And yeah, Heather, I think I finished ranting tonight. I mean, I went on probably longer than I anticipated, but the second cup of coffee kicked in. And it was good. Heather, is she still here? I hope she didn't have to leave.
Yeah,
Heather, can we
I'm
take
here.
you on your whole journey?
Sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
When you came to me, you had some health struggles going on.
So I was part of the first challenge and I made it maybe a week, maybe two, and I got viral meningitis, ended up in the hospital for a week. And I think I messaged Tom after I'd been home for like a week or two and was like, yeah, I can't do the workouts. I was lucky to be able to walk around the block. So he gave me some body weight stuff. I did try and I just physically couldn't do it. So I took my time to recover and get better. And then in October, I think Tom had posted something on the Rise and Run. And so I reached out to him and we started doing one-on-one training because I just wasn't getting back to what was I was playing the weight up and down game and really wasn't on a good program. And so we started in October, I believe it was like middle of October.
It was October 15th was your first official weigh-in.
Okay.
October 15th. It's been a while you've been stuck with me.
Yeah,
October
but
15th.
worth it.
What was it? You cool sharing it?
Yeah, what was it at the beginning?
245.9.
Okay.
245.9. Somehow Tom dropped the ball too that first month. I forgot to send her the one-on-one call link that she gets. So, one-on-one people, I have a call with them every week and just check in. And somehow I forgot to send the link. I've now automated sending the link because I don't want to ever do that again. It was embarrassing. And she had started, she got things going, but she's like, I think we're supposed to be doing calls. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So we got on track after that. But again, she started again, just like I mentioned before, really successful people start during the chaos of life. October 15th, we're about to roll up on Halloween. November rolls around. She lives in North Dakota, so it's cold. What is the temperature like in the odds were stacked against you?
Yeah, I'd say, well, October's not bad. It didn't get cold till like middle of November. But yeah, we're quite frequently below zero.
And then month one, we went from 245.9 to 237.2. So real solid start. Solid start, just around 8 and change, 8.7 pounds if I did my math right there. Probably didn't because I did that quick. Maintained, had a little bit more loss right before Thanksgiving. No shocks here. A little bump up on Thanksgiving, but not crazy. About a pound and a half over Thanksgiving weekend. Nothing crazy. And it's just stayed consistent all the way up until a new low of 231.2 on December 25th. Weird. It went back up between then and New Year's Day. So between then and January 1st, it went up. It's like 3 pounds going up. And then I don't remember. January wasn't like anything extra special. You didn't say I'm doing,
Mm-mm.
you just stayed consistent with the macros. You stayed consistent with the workouts and did all the things, and then it was another boom, boom, boom. Come on, load the right one. 233. Over that month down to 224. So almost another 10 pounds that month from a month and 2 days. It's pretty badass. Excuse my language tonight. Just got off the phone with the New Yorker. They get me going. Then we stayed stable for about a week. Stayed stable for a week. When did when did Lent start?
That would have been like,
Mid-March?
was that end of March, end of February, beginning of March?
So we
It
got
was late. It was late this year.
it was late this year.
Yeah, sometime in March.
Google March 5th through April 17th. So even then, February, you went early February hanging out at 224.8. And the month of February, you really had a killer February. February, it went, where's the first March one? Started slacking on those weigh-ins. 218.4 was the first March one I can see. And then when did I say Lent started? March 5th, that perfect. So she told me beforehand that you were going to give up. What'd you give up for Lent?
Give up all sweets.
She gave up all sweets, anything sugary, which is probably the perfect, as the body starts to stall, and that's where we'll go with this next. But March 5th through April 17th, 218.4 down to 204. So in a little over a month, more than 10, which is not two to 2.5 pounds is not common. It's one to two standard, 2 to 2.5, almost three sometimes. Some weeks were bigger than others. She crushed it. And the amazing thing we chatted about, because we were doing one-on-one at that point, and she said there's a complete difference when you tell somebody that you're not eating sweets for a religious reason versus you're not eating sweets because you're on a diet. No one busted her stones. No one was like, come on, you could just have one cookie. If she had said she was on a diet and trying to lose weight, they would have shoved the cookie down your throat, girl. You've already lost so much. You're down 40 pounds at this point. You could have one cookie, but when you do it for a religious purpose, so if anybody's ever goading you on, just say, oh, it's my religion. I can't do it. I can't have sugar at this hour. You can get around it. And then she's continued. So we started the challenge. What was our start date? July, right around July 3rd. Kept marching somewhere around May. I want to say mid-May. We got down to 202. She got down to 202. I didn't you did the hard work. Got down to 202 and it was 200 on May 15th where she was like, "You know what? This was the big milestone. I think I've got enough knowledge, enough information. We're going to switch. I'm going to switch into the group coaching program so she's part of the group right now that she joins on and and continued all the way to the challenge we started and now we're going to get to the bad part. We got down to 192 right before the challenge started. 192.4, hit a low of 186.8 and has hit the freaking brick wall.
Yeah.
She has hit the brick wall. So the goal is 180. The goal is 180. We are hanging out today at today's the 15th? No. What are we at today?
86.8, I think it was this morning.
All right, so it bumped up a little bit to 87.4, 86.8. I don't want to go too much more aggressive because she's already in a solid deficit. I want to do too much more aggressive, and your body starts to fight you a little bit when you get low. My body's fighting me on the last bits right now, so you got to throw in additional next level tactics. So her and I talked a little bit, and one thing I suggested was carb cycling. I know, yeah, there she is. Miss Jenny, I had her do carb cycling. Was that we were during marathon training, so her fuel levels were ramping up during marathon training, Jenny, and ramping up for marathon, and we wanted to really find a delicate balance. So that's where you might incorporate carb cycling a little more. I have a little lizard crawling around on my window right now. It's freaking me out. Florida. I don't know why I get freaked out about this. Just staring at him. And Jenny did the same thing, and we were able to kind of break through her plateau. But Heather, I've advised to start carb cycling. And like I said, even if she finishes at 184 or 182 next weekend, or even 186, I want to give her a path on how to break that and what that would look like. So the first method would be to introduce the carb cycling. Low carbs on rest days. She asked, should I do them? I don't really have it. How many rest days are you taking right now?
Not really any. I mean, even Sunday is like a good walk and then like a little bit of like one of the extra strengths or something, core, hips, glutes kind of stuff.
So she's trying to really push the limit, and um I'd be lying if I said I'm not doing the same thing right now. As much as I advocate for rest day, I'm not I'm not really taking the normal amount of rest days I would. I'm trying to push myself further, and I know, if my body gives me any warning signs that I need to stop that, I won't. But if your body stops agreeing with you, maybe just time to incorporate a rest day. But if you feel fine, keep doing it. But I would say that Sunday would be a definite low to no carb day. What that looks like, and because I can only plot out weeks at a time on macro goals, I said just cut your carbos. You can go a little up on protein, you go a little up on fat if you need to, but stay under the overall calories. But cut the carbs on Sunday to 20 grams or less, which, unless you're Krista, who we talked to last night, on a different call is absolute torture. Krista used to do it nonstop, but it could be torture. It hits you. You get a little hangry. So hopefully Heather doesn't come in like all angry next week and does that.
You won't know. You won't be here.
Well, you'll probably send me a message like, oh, all I want is
Yeah.
this. You don't realize how much you notice carbs when you don't have when you're low on them. Coda and I filmed a video before and involved my pantry and I opened it up and I'm like, I haven't had a carb all day. This was a terrible video to film today. So we said start with 2 days, two
Mhm.
days. So she could do Sunday and then I would say probably split it up to Wednesday. I would recommend it on the cardio day versus the strength day. So it's a little easier for most people to push through a cardio workout. She's not doing a half marathon right now. She's not doing, what's your longest run you're currently doing?
I'm going to get a virtual 10 miler done by like the end of the summer, but I think my longest run so far has been like 7.5 to 8.
Your
I
body
can do
would survive that
it.
day
Yeah.
without, you'd be able to push through because you'd still have glycogen in your system that you're burning through. So if you were doing a full marathon, I'd say, okay, we got to revamp this plan a little bit. It's not going to work for you. And then going forward, it's like, could you push it to, let's say, on a Wednesday workout? Nope, nope. Let's go with a Wednesday workout. On a Wednesday workout day. So let's look at week 2 or week 3 of you trying this out. If it's moving in the right direction and you like the way it's moving, you keep doing it. But week 2, if it moves, maybe it stalls a little bit. Wednesday, cut your carbs in half. Thursday, go back to the zero. Sunday, go back to the zero. And then for me, it was very similar where I did half zero zero refeed, half zero zero refeed. After that, it was like driving Kim nuts. To
I
Ecuador,
did.
we have pots and pots of rice in this house at all times, and she's like, "What the hell's going on? None of the rice has been eaten this week. Do you just stop eating rice?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't make it." I end up staring at it, and I have a mental fight with it. Additional things you could do. Additional things you could do, because you're already dieting stresses the body. Going through any of that stresses the body. So you really want to look again, path of least resistance, the treadmill walks whenever you can. Just and that's I can always tell when somebody's in full on contest prep in the gym because the amount of just walking they do on the treadmill, they don't want to impact themselves. They don't want, you know, you go and run too much, it can be catabolic. It can just, break down the muscle tissue. You're not giving it fuel to rebuild the muscle tissue, then that becomes an issue. You just break down, break down, break down, no rebuild process. So that's where they time their nutrients. You're going to more nutrient timing. You do a heavy lifting workout, you could eat a lot of carbs right after that to refill the glycogen. It's going to go right to work. And then go less during the remainder of the day. Cut it down the remainder of the day. Where are you going? Can y'all see this dog? Climbing up on me. I was at places to be this one. Where can you sit back down? And yeah, so that's another thing where early on, before I started cutting the carbs, cutting them completely on certain days and lowering them completely on certain days, I would, my entire way of doing it was I was at one point having a cup of rice with 3 or 4 meals of my day, 4 meals of the day. I cut that down 3 weeks later to 3/4 of a cup. Lived there for 2 weeks. Cut it down to a half a cup. Cut it down to a quarter cup, which is the most disappointing serving of rice you've ever had. A quarter cup of cooked rice. There you go. And then, when I want to push a little further, okay, we'll just do it in my post-workout drink and my pre-workout drink. That way I've got a little bit of kick for the workout, and then I got a little bit of, replenishment on the tail end. But I'll say, the incline walks, that's one of those things where I'm like, I'm waiting for somebody. One of these studio owners I know in Florida has to close down because they're closing a lot of these fitness studios, waiting for them to close down so I could buy one of their quality treadmills at a cheap price and figure out how to tell my wife that we're keeping it in the living room so I could just walk on it at night and get extra steps. I want a walking desk so bad, but walking treadmill. I keep you all on here all night. I'd just keep going. If I had a walking treadmill here, we'd be chit-chatting all night. Other things. What
I,
you got? You look like you had a
oh,
question.
go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, no, that's one thing that I think has increased like my cardiovascular, my running is when I don't remember when you said to start like bumping up the incline when I walk. So now I kind of do like an interval of every quarter of a mile, I bump it up. I start at like 6 and I get to like 11 or 12. And I think that has really increased my cardiovascular endurance even more so than I expected because I'm walking, but running feels a lot easier on level ground. So it's kind of like double because like it's helping burn more calories and keep my metabolism going, but it's also increasing my endurance.
Increasing the endurance. So, do you primarily stay in zone two?
When I'm walking, yeah, it might sneak up a little bit when I'm at like a 12 and I walk at like 3.2 to 3.3, but for the most part walking is zone 2.
That's good because do you track your HRV at all?
I do not. My Garmin watch doesn't do that.
That's disappointing.
I know, and I don't know if I can even really find it in the app. I'm not sure. I'd have to dig.
Zone two has very positive effects on HRV, and I would love to see that data just because you've been doing it for a good amount of time. So zone two kind of it affects the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's got a positive response on rest and recovery, which is good. Another thing I would say, and again, this is something where you would need a treadmill at home, but a brisk walk, like to really kick through it, a brisk walk after meals. Doesn't have to be long. 10
Mhm.
minutes has been shown to help with insulin levels, blood sugar levels post post meal. And just not a lot of people want you eat, you want to go sit down. I think that's everybody's. You should see me on Thanksgiving. I'm passed right the heck out. I'm out like a light. And then yeah, you get the HRV benefits. I'd be really curious just to see how it affected yours. Because I know with mine, just zone two, my HRV, good.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, so usually for my day, like I work out at night. Usually I try on like Fridays because I don't have to be at work as early to do my lift. But so I get home, I go out with the dogs, and then I work out, and then I eat. The dogs eat before I do, so then they've been chilling for like a half hour, and then we always go for a walk at the end of the night, or like after I'm done eating. And I think that's made a difference too. And now the dogs are like trained that we just if I'm not getting off the couch or if I'm not getting out the door, they're like, okay, it's time, let's go. So it's good motivation too, because they're like, nope, we got to go for a walk.
That's a win. I mean,
And it's not a very like usually it's not a very long one, especially on run days where if I've ran like 3 to 5 miles, I'm not doing a mile and a half with them. But our loop around our neighborhood is like 6/10 of a mile, and that's like our short walk, and at least it's something.
I've got, I would say very similar where I'll drink my post-workout drink and have a little breakfast when I get home. And I've trained my school store on a wrench in that back to school season, but getting home into because I don't want him to not get a walk either because I'm out at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, now I dilly-dally less. And I'm like, I got to get home before it gets hot because it's almost 90 degrees sometimes by 9 o'clock in the morning. So if I don't walk him 7:30 ish, I don't want to take him out there. He's got this luscious coat. Yeah, that's you. He's got this coat. It's too hot for him out there. So I'll come home quick, eat something, and then get him for a walk. And we would get a really, I could probably get a 10-minute brisk or vigorous walk in if somebody didn't have to pee on every tree.
Yeah.
You want them to know it's your neighborhood, don't you? You gotta let people know. It's gotta let people know. Now, for the tail end, she is at Heather is goal. The goal is what, 6 pounds away?
Yeah.
Six
Roughly.
pounds away. And I'll probably, once we get there, I'll probably tell her, even though she's in group, that's somewhere I would say, let's jump on a one-on-one call real quick and just check in and see where your next where your next situation is, where do you want to move things to, and say it might not be the worst time to do a little reverse diet. So focus more on strength, focus more on building, and try to restack your metabolism a little bit without gaining, can we go up 100 calories a week? Primarily protein. See if you don't gain too much. Beautiful. She went up 100. She went up 100 and it didn't affect. That just means we're re-ramping up the metabolism. If she does heavy lifting during that, really, keeps focusing on getting stronger, anything gained will probably turn into muscle. So you would see body composition changes. I shared on another call yesterday an interesting study and that I just read, and I was informed by the people on that call that Dr. William Wallace, nope, nobody did it tonight. Nobody yelled out Braveheart, but Dr. William Wallace, this guy just started following on Instagram. He shared a study about, lifting weight lowers body fat as much as cardio with better muscle retention. So, 16-week study found that diet alone caused a 3.5% fat loss, but a 2.7% muscle loss at the same time. If you just diet, you don't strength train, that people lost 3.5% fat, lost 2.7% muscle. While adding exercise 3 times a week improved strength training exercise, improved fat loss to 6.3% with less muscle decline. So they lost less muscle, fat loss increased to 6.3%. So the greatest came from exercising 6 times a week, producing 8% fat loss. 6 times a week, producing 8% fat loss with full muscle preservation. What is the same one I shared? Oh yeah, no, it was this portion. 31 random trials comparing aerobic, resistance, and concurrent training. Difference between exercise types only became clear in interventions lasting 10 weeks or longer. In 10-week programs, aerobic training reduced more total body mass and fat mass, but also led to greater lean muscle loss, lean mass loss. Now, the interesting thing, this was the point I was trying to get to, because the resistance training maintained lean mass, participants ended with a greater drop in body fat percentage than those relying on aerobic training alone. So, in other words, preserving muscle, improve body composition, not body composition quality, not just the scale. So that's where I'd say if we increased one, two, 300, and you put on muscle, I think you would continue to see body composition changes for the positive. You'd be like, and that's where it gets tricky. So being a low body fat now, if I gained 5 pounds and it was 5 pounds of muscle, which would be very difficult to do, my body fat would still drop. I could gain 5 pounds and my body fat percentage overall would go. And the math seems funny there, but it actually does make sense when you break down the math. So Heather, that might be the route I want to send you down, a road I want to send you down.
And I think I was gonna measure this morning and I just didn't have time. But I know, like, even though the scale's not moving, like the size 12 pants that I'm wearing now, like 6 weeks ago, they were a little tighter than they were. So, I mean, there's things changing. It's just not showing up on the scale.
That's where I think the measurements can be scale measurement can definitely throw people off, can throw people off a lot. And measurement and being the problem with measurement, it's you have to be very meticulous in how you do them. So it's almost, you know, I can measure two different spots on my waist, and if I get a little bit of my butt in there, I gain an inch. So it you have to have somebody I could measure myself after a workout and be all pumped up and get way different measurements post than I did prior to the workout. It's gotta be like, all right, same conditions, same this, same that. Okay. Damn, that changed there. I had a gentleman I was just on the phone with before I got on with y'all, and he's get the same issue, 194, and he's been sitting there and he's a police officer and uh yeah, he's technically Florida highway, right? Yeah. And he's got to get custom pants. They have custom breeches, he was telling me. So he was like, I went and got measured and I'm two pant sizes down, but I'm the same weight. It's something Lance has struggled with as well. I don't know if Lance is on here. Nope, where Lance's belt size just keeps going down, and Lance is like, my freaking scale is not going down. So you put on muscle, it could change things up. It can change things up a little bit. Oh man, I missed the chat. Joined late, but I'm here. Freedom. Freedom. Feel like finding a community at a gym also helps make you want to show up. They ask if I'm not at the gym. If they don't see me, they're like, where the heck were you? I tell a couple people, like, we'll be on vacation next week. And yeah. Gary Brecka? No, it was Gary V I was talking about. I swear it's amazing for motivation. I have equipment available forever. The app saying do this, do that has been so motivating. That and doing this with season. Still need to find motivation for my fitness pal. Hey, you know, Mark talking on that. I come in and out, and I think when you get to a certain spot, you
You?
you can kind of intuitively eat, which is really that's a big win. And Heather, that might be a route you want to take where you say, you know what, I'm kind of over tracking and I know what my meals look like. I don't have to weigh out everything. I don't have to stress this, stress that. And I will, as soon as this vacation's over, I will go right into more intuitive eating and just listen to my body. And I'd recommend shift into that, eventually if you get to where you want to be. Makes things
And that's what probably got me in trouble in the first place.
intuitive eating.
Probably, well, more so like because I've gotten down to like one. I lost over 130 pounds the first time I lost weight, and then COVID hit, and I was studying for my specialty exam, and then we lived in masks, and once we stopped wearing them, you realize like how much better you felt when you didn't have a mask on all day. So things got lazy and I just stopped like paying attention to what I was eating. And then before you know it, 40, 50 pounds are on and you're like, son of a.
There were, I think I could have done a whole thing on COVID. We're way out of it, but so many people went that direction. And look, that was the advent of you could get, I mean, I don't know about in Dakota, you could get liquor delivered to you. I knew so many people that were like, oh yeah, we DoorDash booze. We DoorDash booze from a restaurant and we're eating burritos tonight and doing sangria and tequila at the house. You want to come? And I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get up early and work out. They're like, where are you gonna work out? I'm like, the park is open, the streets are open. I'm gonna continue because I don't want to, and I saw a lot of people go one way with it, but then I also had a good amount of people that was like just hitting me up like I need to know what to do. Here's what I have. And local people during that, like my gym's all shut down. I was I was kept on payroll for about 2 weeks, and the owners realized that wasn't sustainable. So we were all laid off. And that's where this was kind of, started this whole thing. It started there. And I was doing garage stuff. I was going to seeing different people's lives and know what it's like going and training somebody that lives in the country club and they got two Pelotons, not even one, and they got all the equipment in the garage gym of your dreams, and it was like doing stuff like that. And those people were they kept going, they stayed fit, they kept working out, but so many people went the opposite direction. I
And
was
I,
nonstop.
my the gym that I like in a different town, she started doing virtual. And so I was able to join her classes, but I think it wasn't enough, obviously. And it was a lot of hit, which I like our system better. Like I like the pure strength 3 days a week, and then I'm running my other three and getting walks and stuff. And I think that has been more beneficial for strength gains and just body comp in general.
I like it. I like it. Is my other Matthew on here? I have another Matthew. Matt, which Matt was that? Is that the Matt I saw before? I
I'm
haven't.
here, Mr. Stokes.
I'm here with Stokes. Okay, that's not the Matt I was looking for. I gotta call with Matt G after this, and I'm about 2 minutes late. So hopefully, who am I gonna see on Saturday?
I
Yes,
get
I'm
done
going
with
to try. Depends on what time I get my run in. If I can get it in early
get it done early.
before it hits 80 degrees.
I like
it's
it.
going to be a high of 60 here on Saturday. I am so excited to run outside.
Send it here. It's 80 to 85 by the time 8 o'clock runs around in North Florida still.
No, we'll be like maybe 45, 50 in the morning. It's going to be phenomenal.
Enjoy, embrace,
All running.
enjoy it, embrace it. With that, I'm gonna jump over to the other Matt, and I'll see everybody Saturday morning. Make good decisions, finish nice and strong. Val, I'll see you Friday. Bye.
Bye.
Right.